You know what? It's your fault. You may talk to ChatGPT and he will tell you, oh no, actually, you have all the rights to be feeling this way, but you want to make money, but you're not pushing yourself out of the comfort zone. You want to lose weight, but you're not even walking 5K steps every single day. You want to make more friends, but you're staying stuck in your room watching Netflix. There are so many things that you probably want to do, but you don't do it. So today I'm telling you, it's your fault. However, it's not entirely your fault. Let me explain. My name is NadiaMinds, one body, 1,000 minds, and I do mind on how other people feel, and I think that God put me on this earth to help other people heal from their blocking, limiting beliefs and their awful mindset. You want to change your life, right? That's why I'm telling you it's not entirely your fault. It is though, like at 80%, because it's important that you know that no one is coming to save you, so it's up to you to draw the line on where you're gonna take action or not. However, something that not a lot of people know is how our brain works. Once you understand how your brain works, and I had to do it because I have ADHD and I wanted to hack my brain and not be like, oh my God, I have ADHD, so I can't do this or achieve that. So I had to hack my brain. So I read thousands and thousands of pages on neuroscience. I dove deep lately in the last 4 years. Just received my quesadilla and my watermelon juice. But I will eat it after I roast you and explain to you how your brain works. So you need to think like this. When you are born, many ideas are injected into your brain from your family, who has limiting beliefs from the past, right? From the society, from the environment, from the TV, the newspaper, always negative, people dying, people this and that, poverty. So all this information for years, like, I don't know how old are you, right? But let's say you are 20, between 20 and 30. For 20 years, you had other people's ideas injected in your mind. Plus, think about it. You need to think of your brain as an old computer, like an old software. Basically, it has this amygdala, which its job is to keep you safe, to tell you, hey, be careful, hey, don't do this, hey, don't do that. Why? Because our brain is wired for survival. So our brain has to be programmed by us. We have to put the right code in our brain. But at the moment, it's just an outdated software which thinks that many modern things are still dangerous. So, for example, if you want to speak in public, you freeze because you are like, oh my God, this is going to trigger embarrassment, people will judge me, and you're going to be excluded by the group. This happened many thousands and thousands of years ago when cavemen had to belong to a group. And if you did something bad, you would be excluded, and then you would be in nature with lions and tigers getting attacked and eaten from those. So that's why it was very dangerous to break the rules and to not fit into a group. Otherwise, you would be left out alone to survive in a jungle of dangers. So now that you know that your brain functions in a certain way and it's wired for survival, it's an old software. How are you going to reprogram it? How are you going to use this information to start taking action and getting out of your comfort zone? There's this concept in neuroscience called the Yerkes-Dodson Law, which is an experiment that was made in 1908 on mice. Basically, they would expose mice to different levels of stress. When the stress was too high, the mice wouldn't perform. They would have burnout. When the stress level were too low and they were too much in their comfort zone, they wouldn't perform either a simple task. But when the stress level was just right, not too much nor too little, the mice would perform the task and they would go ahead to the next task. Why? Because they would have this trigger of dopamine. Dopamine, when it triggers, it gives you motivation and it makes you productive. So this is how it works. Here you have your comfort zone where you're just being a lazy potato couch. Then here we have the zone that you want to achieve, but it scares you. Okay, we can call it the fear zone, but actually here this represents your dream and whatever you want to achieve. But the intersection between what you fear and gives you stress and your comfort zone is the growth zone. So the growth zone is the bridge between the two. So you have to do something that stresses you enough to enable this bridge, right? And get to the danger zone, which is your fullest potential or whatever you want to achieve. So it's very important to enable this intersection, because it's when your brain will kick out the old belief system and start having new inputs in. It's like, yeah, come through, guys. I like these thoughts. So the magic formula is to step outside slightly of your comfort zone. And we're not talking about doing huge steps. So when you go to the gym, you're not gonna go to deadlift 100 kilos right away. You're gonna start with, let's say, 5 kilos, then progressively you go to 6, then 7, then 8. That's why it's gonna help you to release the good dopamine that will give you motivation and make you more productive. Why I know about this stuff? Because with ADHD, we have low dopamine production. So we need to understand how to regulate dopamine production so that we can be as productive as normal people. If you wanna start posting, don't be like, oh my God, I have to post so many times a day so that I can grow. No, let's talk about growing from 0 to 10 first. How long will it take? Then 10 to 20, then 20 to maybe 40. Step by step, because every time we jump chapters, we don't get anywhere. Realize this, you're gonna release the right type of dopamine only after doing a task that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, okay? And that's the right type of dopamine, which will give you XP points, whatever you wanna call it, to go to the next task. I'm not talking about TikTok cheap shit dopamine. That's like drinking a Red Bull and thinking that you're gonna have energy for the rest of the day when you just have a crash and then it just ruins your entire week. We're talking about good dopamine that tells your brain, hey, we did it. We went to the fucking gym and we lifted 5 kilos. We did it. So if we did this, we can do 6 kilos. We can do 7 kilos. We can go and do progressive overload. Or for example, when you get in the car to start driving and you press the pedal by listening to your teacher, your brain is like, oh, we did it. I was scared, but I'm actually on the road. We just did it. So next we can drive on the highway, and then we can drive boats. I don't know, but you get the point. The problem is that people don't even reach the stage of stepping out slightly of their comfort zone. Actually, they reward themselves for staying. So that's why your brain associates a couch with the TikTok scrolling, with chocolate, the chips, talking to your friend, because you don't do the action that translates into a reward afterwards. That's why it's going to give you the right type of dopamine to keep going. No, you reward yourself right away. Oh, I'm gonna stay in this couch and scroll forever. So why my brain should tell me to go and do that thing that I'm supposed to do so I can progress and tap into my potential? I noticed that loop in my life. Instead of recording a YouTube video, I'll be like, I'm just gonna go and buy a burger. So obviously my brain was like, oh, that's great. We are safe here. We keep receiving treats. So I had to force myself. That's when it was my fault, and I had to condition myself to step out and be like, no reward. If we are not recording this video, we are not going out. If we are not going to the gym, there's no way we're having chips tonight. So I would give myself a reward after doing the uncomfortable action. And that's how you retrain your dopamine system. So let me give you 3 tips that will definitely help you. First, every single day, put in your notebook micro discomfort list. And every single day you do one tiny action. We're not talking about going from 0 to 10 like this. One tiny action that makes you uncomfortable. Like asking what's the weather like to the store owner downstairs, or talking to someone, or sending a text to a businessman so that you can receive a rejection. Something that gives you discomfort. Your brain is like a tiny dog. It needs a little exposure to rewire. I like to see my brain as a dog, like a separate entity, and be like, oh, you did this? Oh, here's your little treat. Okay, you did this other action. Okay, here's another treat. That's how you're gonna release this dopamine that will keep you motivated. Celebrate the effort and not the outcome. So every time you do something uncomfortable, like going to the gym and lifting 5 kilos, do not celebrate the outcome. Of course, you're not gonna lose 10 kilos in one day. Of course, you're not gonna have muscles in one single day, but celebrate the effort. Say, shot of dopamine earned today because I lifted 5 kilos. And tomorrow, God willing, I'll lift 7 or 8. This is the link between discipline and reward, plus all the benefits that come from being consistent. And anchor discomfort with safety. So before doing an action that makes you uncomfortable, take a deep breath and say, we're safe, we're learning, we're doing something new. This is gonna help us in the future. So I'm stepping in the gym and I'm safe. It's totally safe. Actually, it's gonna be helpful. I'm gonna build momentum. It's gonna be awesome. The breathing associated with an uncomfortable action helps the amygdala feel safe, so it doesn't go into alarm mode. If you want to talk to that CEO or sing a karaoke song in front of everyone, just doing this will help, right? And while your amygdala feels safe, the prefrontal cortex rewires as well. We're going to talk about this in another video. So remember this, you need to treat your brain as if it was a dog that you need to train, because it was built for survival and not success. But by stepping every single day outside of your comfort zone with micro action, it will teach that everything is fine. We don't need to survive. We will actually thrive. And thanks to growth, neuroplasticity, your brain becomes a new updated software, a brand new software. It's like the iPhone 17, iPhone 18. Every single time you give it a new input and it tells you, hey, we can do it. We managed to do it and everything is fine. Actually, everything is even better. And comfort isn't peace. It's a trap. It's a trap. And discipline, it will help you give so many dopamine shots that will make you very, very successful. And discipline is not a punishment. Actually, it will give you so many dopamine shots that will help you to be successful, if that's what you want, obviously. The other day, I was talking to this girl who comments my stories all the time, and she's like, wow, you're so lucky. You have gains, you have a great body. I wish I could do the same. And I asked her, oh, okay, can you tell me a little bit more about what you eat if you go to the gym? And she told me, to be honest, I don't go to the gym. I video game the whole day, and I don't track the meals that I eat. And I was like, so how the fuck you wanna progress then? Obviously, I didn't tell her this way. It would be rude. But if you don't take action, how are you gonna have a reaction? So explain this formula to me. Sometimes it's not about luck, it's about moving things, making stuff move so that shit happens. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, tell me what you thought about the video, and I'll see you the next time. Bye!